As a young job seeker, do you sometimes feel frustrated and don't know where to start in your job search and preparations? Are you feeling anxious about your future after graduation when getting a job offer seems so difficult in this declining job market? Are you struggling to overcome your anxiety during important job interviews, especially the one with companies that you really admired? Let me tell you, job winning is definitely a skill you can learn and master. Hi, my name is Pony. It's my personal mission to inspire and empower young people just like you to discover your true potentials. And by bringing out the best in everyone, together we can contribute to the greater good. And that's why I've put together this Udemy course to share with you all these powerful materials that me and my coaching clients find useful and effective through many years of observation, testing, and refining the techniques. In this course, you will learn how to get noticed by recruiters by using effective career marketing strategies, how to increase your influencing power at interviews using NLP techniques, how to boost your confidence level and give your best performance during job interviews, how to increase your professional presence with tips from image stylists, and eventually, after winning several job offers, how to make the right choice between them. This is the course I wished I had when I was 20 years old. I want you to avoid committing the same mistakes that I've made so you can dedicate your time for things that truly matters, like investing in yourself through constant learning and discovering your purpose and true potentials. Besides, if you are planning for career change, this course could work for you too because you're encountering similar challenges when it comes to persuading the recruiters to bet on you without immediately relevant experiences. Let me help you by showing you the path of least resistance in getting job offers. Most importantly, if you walk away from this course feeling empowered and confident in achieving more in your future careers. Come on board with me by clicking the green button on the right, and we'll walk through the whole process together. So after finding what you love and what you are good at, we would like to go out and see what options are available out there, and then find where you are standing in the market. First, we would love to explore what career options are in fact available. There are many resources online which offer job profile glossaries. Spend some time on it to explore different industries, different professions, various organizations' nature, like corporates, agencies, NGOs, or social enterprises, and the size of the organizations. I guarantee you will find many careers which you have never thought of. You can also take reference to the job advertisement platforms to see what professions are trending and which industries and positions are diminishing. Now, after researching what's out there, plot all your possible career options onto this career option tree. We want quantity at this stage, so take this exercise as a brainstorming tool and keep an open mind. You can try to use the main branches to plot your interested industry, and on the sub-branches, pull on the possible professions. Or, in reverse, you can start with job functions, then expand the sub-branches with different company natures. See what possibilities are expanded when you keep your options open. Then for each sub-branches, ask yourself these 5 questions as a prompt for you to conduct more research about each of them. 1. What are these jobs like on a day-to-day basis? 2. What are the key competencies and skills required? 3. What added values can you offer to this organization? 4. What are the worst part of the job and can you deal with it? And 5. What are the future development potentials? Now for each career option, list out the top 5 important competencies or skills to be successful in the job. And then, rate your current level of capabilities from 1 to 10, with 10 the highest. Here I take the Apple Store customer service support as an example. The top 5 are service mentality, problem solving, influencing skills, technical knowledge about the products, and the relationship building and customer servicing techniques. Now it becomes very obvious on what you have to further work on if you really want to be in that job. Say, for number 4, you can quickly teach yourself to become an expert by delving into the technical support manuals or forums. Now, if the total scores are below 25, which is 50% of the total maximum scores, you might not have much competitive advantage at this position. It's all about give and take for getting what we want in life. When we work, we are exchanging our time, effort, and competencies for the rewards and experiences we want from a job. And employers are offering compensation, training, and a platform for you to help them grow. For the two of you to find each other, you need to get noticed and stand out from the crowd. So what gets you noticed is your competitive advantages. Talking about competitive advantage, we are referring to the unique selling points about you when we compare you to your peers. What experiences that only you have that your classmates haven't an exposure in? What stands you out? What differentiates you from other candidates? If, on a few days after an interview, the employer would like to recall about you, what could he or she remember? To really determine your market positioning, if you have studied Marketing 101 classes, you've probably heard of the SWOT analysis, which is a tool to evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for a product, a project, or a business and generate strategies accordingly. Actually, you can apply it to yourself as a job candidate as well. So, on the top 2 quadrants, we have strengths and weaknesses. We analyze internally about what you are good at and not so good at. And then for the lower 2 quadrants, we have opportunities and threats. Here we compare ourselves with other job candidates. For areas that you're stronger than them, it could be your opportunities. And vice versa, that could be your threats. Note that when we are defining the other candidates, you have to make different versions accordingly for each career option because they would not be the same group of people. Now, here are some indicators and guiding questions to help you complete your personal SWOT analysis. On the left-hand side, we have our strengths and opportunities, which could be your potential competitive advantages. So, what makes you successful? What was the most important team role that you've ever fulfilled and why? When faced with an overwhelming obstacle, what's your approach to overcome it? What are the strengths that others acknowledge in you? On the other hand, in the right-hand side, these are areas where you have a lack of interest, a lack of capacity, and a lack of education, which would be considered your weaknesses and maybe threats. And here is an advanced level of playing with the personal SWOT analysis on determining what should you do next about your competencies. In this chart, you see two assets. On the vertical level, you are comparing within yourself on your capabilities. On the horizontal level, you are comparing yourself with others. The closer to the arrow at the end of the axis, the stronger you are at that competencies. So you will know what your core strengths are when you score high on both axes. What to do with them? You would want to reflect on them further and come up with a common theme and consolidate a list of keywords. These keywords would be the foundation and the core focus of your future career marketing, which means they will appear a lot in your resume and interview answers. And your weaknesses are those areas when you score low in both assets. We always say we should leverage on our strengths to be successful. So among your weaknesses, only pick out the elements which could hinder your success. For example, your time management skills, and make improvement plans on them so at least they won't be holding you back. For other items, just leave them there. Now there are two more quadrants. The competencies which you do not find very strong among yourself, but you are better than everyone else. You have talents in this area. So with more practices and learning, you can grow them into your core strengths. And for qualities you are proud to have but do not consider great when comparing to others, you have two options. Either to up your skills or to change your peers and find somewhere you can stand out. So besides a market positioning tool, your personal SWOT analysis can be a great reference in creating your personal development plans. Your life is the result of your choices. If you don't like your life, it's time to make some better choices. I hope the above techniques can bring you more clarity on where you are now and what options you have, so you can make more informed career decisions moving forward. Laser Focused Company Research Guide, a 4-step guide for comprehensive company research in your preparation of job application. Before applying for any job position, of course you would like to research thoroughly to consider if it fits your interests and competencies. Moreover, a thorough company research will help you strategize your career marketing in the next stage of application. Now, see yourself as a consultant when you are conducting the company research. Your objective of this research project is to find out in which areas the company is doing great and where the company can further improve, and ultimately, you are able to offer insights and suggestions to the company as a professional. Here are the 4 steps of the research processes which I will walk through one by one with you. Step 1. Broad research about the company. Step 2. Research on the people, the senior executives, your direct supervisors, and the current and the ex-employees. Step 3. Research on the position. And step 4. To collect first-hand information as much as you can. Step 1. Let's have a broad overview of all the 8 key areas of a company. They are their annual reports and sustainability reports, their corporate culture and HR values, the media center, fact sheets, press releases, and social media, their business functions, subsidiaries, and brands, their recent achievements and expansion, their 5-year plan of development, relevant industry news and government policies, and their key competitors and the competitors' new initiatives. First, we can take a look at the company-centered information, which means the information released by the company itself. You may wonder why I put annual report and sustainability report at the front and foremost. There are two main reasons. One, a company's annual report is a comprehensive summary which took huge effort across the company to compile, so to reflect what they have done the past year to shareholders. So you can find lots of deep and updated information which you can't find in just the company website. 2. A lot of times, the sustainability or corporate social responsibility efforts of a company are in fact the enforced duties by legislations or the community pressure. Many companies actually see this as corporate branding and public relations initiatives, so don't get easily wowed by what they have stated. Personally, as a practical idealist, I would only work for Humanity Plus companies. As coined by Vision of myvalue.com, the term Humanity Plus companies are those working on solutions or products that push the human race forward. In contrast, Humanity Minus companies are those that are increasing shareholders' values or making profits but with an expensive social or environmental cost. Worse, some are based solely on artificially created demand that sell people products with no actual value but are made to seem like a necessity with powerful advertising. I see the importance of contributing your intelligence and effort in something you believe in, which brings me to the next component of information, the corporate culture and HR values. You can find keywords broadly stated across their websites. At this stage, just take how they describe their own culture as a matter of fact. Later, we'll talk about finding insider's voice about the real culture working there. The third component is the media center. Review their latest fact sheets, press releases, and social media campaigns published. It will give you clues about their latest developments and future directions. Some CEOs might even publish books to talk about their company's culture and ideology. That would be your important reference books. Next, you need to understand thoroughly how the business operates. In which industry or industries are they involved in and in what proportions? How many subsidiaries and brands do they have? Were the expansions achieved through vertical or horizontal integrations? What are the pros and cons of running a company like this? Moreover, what can you tell from the organizational chart? Is the company more decentralized, so business functions work closely within a region, or the vice versa? What are the characteristics of this industry? Like, are they labor intensive? So labor costs and management costs would occupy a major part of the company's expenditure and cash flow. How's their profit margin? And which stage of development is the company currently in? Are they actively expanding? So the short-term goal would be on market share? Or are they focusing to be the market leader for certain profitable brands? You can always refer back to their annual reports, which give you all the clues if you study closely. Then, we need to understand their recent expansion of achievements and their 5-year plans which would govern the direction to your daily work. How aggressive are they in their 5-year plan? In which direction is the plan focusing on? And what are the challenges can you foresee? Now, after digesting the company-centered information, Now it's time to take a broader view of how the whole industry is doing by absorbing more marketing and industry information. You would like to find out the latest industry news, related government policies, and how they are going to affect the business of the company you are applying for. Also, who are their key competitors? What are the core differences in terms of what they offer, in terms of product and services, pricing and quality standards? What are the competitors doing in the near future? By now, you should have absorbed enough information to compile a SWOT analysis for this company that you are applying. What is their market positioning? What are their strengths? What are their development opportunities? What need to be changed in view of threats from uprising competitors? Step 2. Research on the people. Now we've taught ourselves into an industry expert by quickly absorbing the hard data. Next, we would love to verify them with the people who are or have been involved with the company. You can start off by searching interviews, news comments, or speeches delivered by the executives in senior management. You can also find articles they have published and their media appearances. Moreover, LinkedIn is another great tool for researching on the career paths, including both the entry points and exit paths of an industry leaders, your interviewers, and someone who is holding the position you see yourself in 5 years, which could give you some clues on how to get there. To be more objective in your research, it's also important to include your research with voices of the third party who have direct working relationships with the company. A lot of information like company culture and HR values shared by the company itself can be very vague and general, which only insiders can understand. Is the company more like a warming, caring family, or a competitive, exciting, and fair environment? Is it more laissez-faire, or their operations lies heavily on hierarchy and following guidelines? For HR values, 99% of companies worldwide claim that people are their most valuable assets. Let's assume they are all speaking their truth, just they all have their own interpretations. And therefore, we have to find out what standard they are holding for themselves. So, from current and ex-employees and company reviews in websites like Glassdoor could offer you some clues. In addition, to really learn about the repetition of products and services, hear what their customers and users have to say. For example, in social media to find out their company's potential pain points and evaluate how well they are doing in the market. Step 3. Research on the position. Before you can confirm your choice of a profession, you want to understand thoroughly what it takes and where will it take you to. Here are what you need to find out. What are the entry requirements for this position? What are the core competencies required? What are the major deliverables of the position holder? What trainings and experiences will the position holder able to accumulate? Who are their key counterparts? In terms of job design, what are the differences between this company and its competitors? Try to envision yourself holding the job title already. With the information you have collected in Step 1 and Step 2, how would you fit in the company's current operations and future development? And finally, what are the exit paths for this position? Finally, Step 4. It's best to collect as much first-hand information as you can to compile a truthful research. 1. Find insiders. Search and see if any of your school alumni or social networks are connected to an employee currently working there. Or you can search through LinkedIn. The key is not to ask for a job from them. You ask for a quick call or meeting to conduct informational interview so you can get insights and stories which you have never found anywhere else. 2. You can take a site visit to the office during lunch hour and observe their colleagues. You can get a clue on their dress code, the age population of a company, and whether the work environment is highly stressful, that everyone is running and rushing in whatever they're doing. 3. Be their customers and users. If you have never tried their products or services, you can never understand how to improve it for better user experiences. Moreover, try to interact with frontline employees and see how they are treating their customers. Generally speaking, if a staff member is being respected and valued by the company, they will be happy at work and they will deliver great services. Okay, now let's put all these into actions. The title of this episode is called Laser Focus, right? So I want you to dedicate at least 3 to 5 days to focus on researching one company. If you are finding connections to insiders to conduct informational interview with, it would definitely take you longer, but it's worth it. Try to record your important findings by compiling a rough report and write summaries in your own words. Information-wise, it's unlikely that you can read them all through, so skim read through the materials and take note on the key reoccurring points. Also pay attention to the credibility of the sources and avoid content farm and media channels that are heavily inclined. And finally, with the research and analysis you have done, internalize the materials like you've been working there to prepare your career marketing materials and your future interviews. As Bruce Lee said, the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. So let's put some effort together in what's important to your future career search. Today's quote is shared by Mike Hawkins, who said, "You don't get results by focusing on the results. You get results by focusing on the actions that produce results." So having a thorough, laser-focused company research is the golden foundation for creating an impeccable career marketing materials for your job hunt. As job applicants, most of us are only aware of one side of the story in recruitment. But to be an effective communicator, we need to understand our audience, which is the recruiters, so we would know how to put our best fit forward. You might have noticed that even so many people remain unemployed. There are lots of recruiters out there complaining about how challenging it is to hire a right match. Like, there's no suitable candidates out there. The company's salary package is too low to hire great talent. Ultimately, it's not about the quantity of vacancies and job seekers available. It's about the right match of the job and the person. So what had happened before a job vacancy appears? Well, there could be a few possibilities. 1. An existing colleague resigned, so they need a replacement and hopefully a proper handover for tasks on hand. 2. An existing colleague was promoted and they need a helping hand so the promoted colleague can move on. 3. A newly created headcount to meet with new responsibilities. Or 4. The company is just doing research on the establishment of a new team in the near future. They will have new headcounts very soon, but at this moment, they're not sure what they need yet. So internally, the workflow for recruitment can be simplified as shown here. when a job opening appears, the line manager of the requesting department will discuss with the human resources or external recruiters on the job requirements. HR would then publicize the opportunity. After receiving enough applications, HR will shortlist potential candidates and conduct the first interview. The purpose of HR's first round interview is to be a gatekeeper, that is, to identify if there are any red flags in the candidate like bad work ethics, disciplinary issues, cultural mismatch, etc., because firing someone is much more difficult than hiring. Further shortlisting will be done by elimination after this round of interview. If you have passed the HR round, then line manager will further meet with your candidate to see if they click with each other, because the line manager will normally be your future supervisor. The final decision will be made by the line manager, and they will inform HR so they can follow up with the candidates on the package negotiation and to prepare for their onboarding. Make sense? By now, you may be thinking, if it's possible, applicants should by all means skip the HR. I would say this is absolutely right. Just it's not that easy to skip the HR, especially for fresh graduates who just start their careers. Later in life, when you are more connected, skipping HR in the recruitment process is highly possible, and normally you can get an interview opportunity much easier through an existing network. Now, let's focus on what you can control. Your key focus in job interviews is to differentiate yourself from tons of applicants, meaning to get noticed and remembered by the interviewers, both the HR and the line manager. And during the interviews, make them associate you as part of their peers and to see you as their future colleagues and working partners. How to do this? Most job applicants, when they go to interviews, go from a self-absorbed attitude of, I've done this, and that, so please give me the job. Don't do this. Instead, shift your mindset to how you can help the company. What values can you offer to the line managers to solve their problems and help your managers get what they want? By adopting this important mindset, in the eyes of interviewers, you offer more values and become their ally. And let's face it, interviews are not really about you. First, it's definitely not counseling. When I was a recruiter, I had so many candidates, especially younger ones, who told me unnecessary personal secrets or life tragedies because they thought I'm nice and I'm a good listener. Of course, I'm nice, and many HR professionals are trained to be good listeners. But as I said, the role of HR is to be a gatekeeper. So if you offer information which could be potentially red flags to them, you're just making yourself a trap to fall into. So beware of treating the nice interviewer as a counselor. Moreover, you always want the interviewers to associate you with your positive qualities. So if you're telling me how you rise above your humble beginnings, meaning how you make things happen despite difficulties, instead of how things happen to you, then that is definitely a wonderful career story. More on that in a later episode on career storytelling. So, what is the interview really about? It's about what you can do for them. That's why you don't need to defend or sell your qualifications, that factual information you have already listed on your resume. They already know you are qualified, because if you weren't qualified, they won't be talking to you. What you do need to sell during an interview is the idea that you and your qualifications are a good fit for their culture and their needs. From the company's perspectives, they always want to minimize risk in the wrong hire. Therefore, they usually prefer experienced over inexperienced candidates. And training is very expensive, and ROI, return on investment, is important, so they would avoid potential job hoppers. For those companies that hire fresh graduates, they need new blood to join the company for succession planning, and they will choose young, trainable talents with high potentials. Make sense? Now, let's take a look at what the top skills that companies are actually looking for. The World Economic Forum published a Future of Job reports in 2016, which shows the top 10 skills required in the 2020. The top 3 of the list, we have complex problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity, which are all mental skills. And the next 3 are people management, coordinating with others, and EQ. That are all interpersonal skills. So, the selection processes are designed to find out these skills accordingly. I have to highlight that hiring fresh graduates is among the riskiest of all hiring. Because on one hand, when we look at the past of graduates, they don't have much solid experience to prove their capabilities. And for their future, people change their minds most frequently and drastically in their 20s. We're not talking about being millennials and baby boomers. It's just about people's life stages. Therefore, for many graduate trainee or management trainee programs out there, companies will intensively train and offer job rotations for selected fresh graduates and put them under a high-fly development track. These are huge training investment and therefore a complicated recruitment processes which could range from 5 to 9 steps in order to find the best fit are designed to find the best match of young talents. A typical selection process design could look like this. The first few steps are done behind the screen. You will submit your application online through the ATS, that is the application tracking system. And based on some preset criteria of basic requirements, it could be GPA or relevant internship experiences, the system will automatically eliminate a certain percent of applicants. For those who can move on, they will be invited for aptitude tests or written tests, as well as personality profiling. Aptitude tests are designed to evaluate essential mental skills like numerical and verbal logical understanding and written communications. And for personality profiling, usually it's not for screening purpose but serve as a guidance to interviewers on the cultural fit of this candidate. Next, for those who pass the aptitude test, will be invited for several rounds of in-person interviews, sometimes in assessment center format, where group activities and group tasks will be completed. The company also take the chance to promote their company values and culture as a kind of brand building. Final interviews can be one-on-one or panel interviews where several members of the management team meeting one candidate at the same time to make the final hiring decision. The whole selection process could take 2 months to half a year, depending on the number of the recruitment process in between. No matter how many recruitment processes it involves, there could be a high chance that your application was turned down before it even meets the eyes of recruiters. That has to do with the evil application tracking system. Here's a screenshot of the Monster's Power Resume search page. I trust you have done lots of Google searches for yourself, and in recruitment, recruiters actually use the same logic in searching. That is, using keywords. Your resume is run through a parser, which removes the styling from the resume and breaks the text down into recognized words or phrases. Depending on the matches of selected criteria, it could be years of experiences, job titles, and skill keywords. Applicants are sorted by the system in a sequence of relevancy. Now, a sad fact is that the application tracking systems can reject up to 75% of candidates. It's actually like a resume black hole. Worse, many highly qualified candidates are rejected by ATS simply because they fail to write their resume for the resume screening software. Yet, companies continue to use these tracking programs despite the flaws because they make hiring easier on recruiters. Therefore, your goal in the application stage is to get past the robots and let your resume seen by human eyes. Now, here are some tips for you to get past the ATS. Complete the online application form as fully as you can. And anticipate what robot would search for by mirroring the words from the actual job description in your resume. Use acronyms and spell out the full form of titles, professional organization, and certifications. Dive deeper into your keywords that includes more advanced level skills and specific examples of techniques, like instead of phrases like communication skills, use influencing skills instead. And don't use graphics, logos, or tables in your resume if you apply through an ATS. In the next episode, we will discuss further on how to tailor your resume accordingly to the job you are applying for. I understand the whole job hunting process could take very long, and as time goes by, job seekers would get frustrated. Even still, I want you to remember that companies really want to hire someone soonest because the selection process is very time consuming, stressful, and it distracts their attention away from what they are supposed to be doing at work. If they don't need extra manpower, they won't waste the time and energy in hiring. So, help them help you by bringing out your best in all your job search marketing portfolios, as well as in interviews. Remember, recruiters are paid to hire, not to reject. So please make their lives easier and help them help you. With that in mind, coming next, we will talk about job search in a smarter way. See you in the next video. A lot of times, it's not who you are, it's how you market yourself and how you are perceived as a job candidate that really matters. Your employees know nothing about you, so it's your responsibility to present yourself in a way that gets noticed. In this two-part video series, I will introduce you 6 key important steps to tailor your resume into a powerful career marketing tool for both the human eyes and the application tracking system. In a sea of applications, recruiters will try to form an impression of who you are by the bits and pieces of information they receive from you or gather somewhere else about a candidate. That includes your resume, your cover letter, your portfolio, your public online footprints like LinkedIn or social media profiles, and testimonials from people whom you have worked with and someone the recruiters can trust. The feedback sometimes could weigh much heavier than you think. So your goal at this stage of job application is to arouse the interest of recruiters in you by positioning yourself as the right fit through the influencing power of your written and visual presentations. Step 1. Decoding job advertisements. To be successful in everything we do, we should have the end in mind. Now, if we apply it to the resume writing, it's all about being target-oriented. A general resume that was written for all jobs will get you nowhere because it is boring and it doesn't really speak directly and specifically to the hearts of the recruiters. So, to write a target-oriented resume, first, we'll have to understand what employees' requests are and find out the hidden messages in the job advertisement. Let's take a look at this example together. Here's a job advertisement posted by the fashion e-commerce company. Before I begin, I would like you to spend 30 seconds in glancing through this job advertisement and we'll discuss together next. Okay, now let's break it down into pieces. First, about the company. What is the industry that the company belongs to? And you have to dig deeper on their business model, like do they design and manufacture their own brands or they just sell others? 2. Who are the target customers? In terms of age group, spending power, style, and geographical locations. 3. Who are their competitors? 4. What are their key challenges at this stage of development? Now, you probably need more research before you can answer the above questions. Keep those in mind and perform your research after we've done with the whole job advertisement. Let's move on to the job title and the core job duties. Account Management Executive. As the Account Management Executive, you will be in charge of training, monitoring, and executing strategies to improve our partners' performance. So, who are your partners? Probably the clothing brands that this store is selling, and how their performance would affect your company. Next part, responsibility. See the red keywords that I highlighted. Grow sellers' sales revenue. Plan online marketing campaigns. Master operating system and idea development. We know ABC is a trading platform. Sellers stay there only if their sales are doing great. And customers will grow only if you have more high-quality brands. So they need someone to grow the sales, work on the marketing, and use the system to ensure smooth online trading performances. And the last 4 points require someone with strong business understanding, problem solving, and customer servicing skills. Then we look at the requirements. Degree in business, 1 to 2 years of relevant work experience. Now, we can be more flexible on your relevant work experience. Say, if you have a store to sell handicraft online, that counts as well, even if it's not gained from an official employment. A proven track record of personal and academic achievements. And the last point, ability to deliver tangible results while working in a challenging and ever-changing environment. They are referring to your ability to thrive in a fast-growing, sometimes chaotic job environment. The language requirements: English, Mandarin, Korean. It shows where your partners are from. So, after breaking the job advertisement down, we have a much deeper understanding of the challenges of the role and what qualities are required to perform this job well. Now, as fresh graduates or young job seekers, what to do if almost all jobs require a minimum of 1 to 2 years of experiences and you need the job to gain experience in the first place? Don't panic. You should know that the job advertisement is just like a wish list of the employers. They are not expecting a 100% fit candidate, like you are not expecting a 100% perfect dream job. See yourself like Play-Doh, the toy that kids play with, that you are highly flexible to learn and fit in when you are required to do so. And you are in fact unbreakable even things do not work out in some occasions because you can always try again. So go ahead to apply if you like the job and can fulfill around 70% of the requirements. After all, the worst thing could happen for applying more jobs is just not hearing back from them. So why not try? Moreover, jobs that listed for 1 to 2 years of experience requirement would very probably accept fresh graduates with some part-time and internship experience. Remember, job matching is a two-way street. You are choosing employers while they are choosing the right talent to invest their training in. Step 2. Identifying keywords. With an understanding of employers' expectation, we are a step closer to tailor our career marketing portfolio accordingly. How? By using relevant keywords. As we've discussed before, the purpose for using keywords is to make sure the resume would go through both the human eyes and the ATS. There are a number of sources of keyword appearance: job advertisements, company websites, advice from HR or staff working there, or the LinkedIn profile of someone holding a similar title in the company. And there are 2 levels of keywords. Priority resume keywords are words used in the company's listed job description and related marketing materials. Words that are used more than twice and described as one of the success criteria. Secondary resume keywords could be name of competitor companies, similar phrases surrounding the priority keywords, and some notable industry qualifications like training or associations. To save you tons of time in finding keywords, here is a wonderful quick tool: the use of word cloud. Go get a test version of your job advertisement. Then go online and find some free word cloud tools like TechCloud or Wordle, and paste the text to create a word cloud specific for this job. And that's it. The word cloud will be a very useful reference when tailoring your resume to that particular position. Step 3. Positioning yourself among your competitors. Now you've identified the keywords and phrases that the job requires. However, you might not be able to insert all of them into your resume because there could be areas where you've never explored before. We will then learn how to choose and prioritize the keywords that fit specifically for you. To achieve this, we'll need to know first how you are positioned among your competitors. First, who are they? That is, who would be interested in the job? Let's create a simple profile for those who will be interested in the previous example of account management executive. You could break them down into 4 major areas. Professional qualifications and major. Those who have a marketing or fashion-related studies. Passion. Someone who is passionate in online shopping scenario and fast fashion. Strengths. Someone who is strong in industry knowledge, social skills, and fashion sense. Weaknesses. They might be relatively weaker in language, project planning, and problem solving. Now, when comparing yourself to them, how different are you? In particular, on the strength and weakness part, how different your skill portfolio would be. Now let's get deeper. Being different doesn't necessarily mean you are a better fit for the job. So here's a worksheet I called Weighting Your Edge Analysis, which measures the importance of the key competencies the job requires. Then find out where you are at and come up with a strategy on which particular qualities should you be focusing on. Make sense? On the first column, list out all key qualities that the job is looking for. Then, on the next column, column B, rate the level of importance of this quality in relation to the success of the job from 1 to 10, with 10 the highest. Then on the third column, rate yourself on your level of capabilities versus that of your peers from 1 to 10. On the final column, multiply column B to column C. Since most people would rank themselves in the middle range of 6 to 8, I'll apply a cutoff line at 50. So from this example, you see I've highlighted 4 qualities which are higher than 50, meaning these are the areas which are both the company cares about and what you are strong at. Now we know your edges. Let's work on them further and design where to best reflect these qualities in your resume. Take out a piece of paper and list all of your edges or strengths. Then research on the alternative phrases that have similar meanings. I've given you lots of examples here. And in the third column, think which experience would be the best in reflecting this quality. After you have completed this analysis, your target-oriented resume is almost half done. Now we've covered step 1 to 3 of the 6 key important steps to tailor your resume into a powerful career marketing tool. Please continue to part 2. Difficulty 3. Answering questions that are out of your knowledge base. A lot of times, these are situational or case questions like, imagine there is a difficult customer standing here complaining about your services. How would you handle? Or to give you several urgent tasks and ask you to prioritize and handle accordingly. Why do they ask you this kind of question? Apparently, they want to test your problem-solving ability. And your answering strategy is to isolate the problem first, then propose the solutions later. Now, this is very important because for normal people, they usually jump right in and offer solutions one after another. Probably, these are not the solutions that really works because they have been wasting their time in solving the wrong problem. Smart people do it differently, and that is what consultants do. Companies hire consultants to find out precisely the root cause of the company's problems, and then the solutions are usually quite straightforward. Therefore, consulting firms use a lot of case interviews in recruitment. So, when answering a situational question, use 75% of your time in isolating and defining what is the actual problem, and use the remaining 25% in solving the problem. So, what to do if, when the interviewer flows to your question, your mind just goes blank? Scary, right? But it happens sometimes. In this case, you might politely ask the interviewer to repeat the question. Or you can say directly to the interviewer that, I've never thought about this. Please give me a few seconds to organize my thoughts. They will wait for you for sure. Next, you can try to rephrase the question and define the keywords while you are trying to put things together in your head. With the keywords, determine whether it's a task, thought, people, or self-management question. Just break it down and see if anything in your story bank can be laterally relevant. Remember, you are not expected to give a solution to every problem. The interviewer just wants to see how you analyze it and what your thought process is. Next, how to answer if they ask you, why do you want to work for us? Or say, you want to go into the big four firms. They ask you, why us, but not the other firms? When everybody knows you have applied to all of them, of course. Interviewers want to see that you've taken the time to research the company and understand the industry. They also want to know that you actually want this job and not just any job. So your key focus is to show your understanding in a company and you have a can-do attitude to make a contribution to the team. To answer this type of questions, do not just say, because you guys are the best in the industry. This is just too shallow. So instead, offer them with precise reasons of what sets them apart from their competitions and how their mission and company culture align with that of yours. Most companies have strong brand values and corporate culture that you can find clues in their websites, employee interviews, as well as Glassdoor. For example, if the company is well known for the standards of corporate responsibilities, and this is important to you too, mention it. If they are working on projects which interest you, mention it. After asking why us, the next question would be, why you? To answer this, identify what are important to them, which are also important to you under these three layers. Your passion and values, your capabilities, and your career planning, which means you're motivated to do it, you have the ability to do it, and you see the company as a platform to achieve great things in the long term. Remember to quote 1 to 2 stories of your core strengths to strengthen the message. Show the confidence to your interviewers that you deserve the position because of what you have. And end the message by linking how you can contribute to the company's vision and future development. Remember that interviewing is just a conversation. It's really about whether you can keep it flow smoothly and the communication engaging. Now, instead of giving you a quote, I would like to end this episode by giving you a challenge. I want you to practice what you learned by forming a roleplay mock interview group. Now go out and form a small group of 4. Take turns to roleplay the interview scenario. One person will be the interviewer and the rest will be the interviewees. Pick any difficult interview question to ask and see how different their answers could be. Observe and learn from each other, and don't forget to give constructive feedbacks to each other as if you are the interviewers. Have fun doing this challenge, and I would love to hear from your feedbacks afterward. Part 3. Impressing the interviewers. This is what I call the "thank God I found you" phase, which is exactly how you want to make the interviewer feel during the interview process. Level 1. Basic Principles. The interviewer is a human being, and let's be honest, we are all only interested in our WIIFMs, which is what's in it for me. So most probably, they're thinking about their own careers more than in us. Here are some of the real thoughts of an interviewer which they would have never told you. I'm really subjective, although I try not to show it. I have a checklist. If someone can help me tick all of them, you win. I have lots of work to do, and if I can't remember you after an hour, sorry. I really don't like interviewing, and I want to end it as soon as possible if I'm not interested in you. It's very boring to sit here to listen to your life. Why should I care if you are not here to help me? I really want someone to release my burden. I don't pay you to learn things here. Now, by understanding them, you are ahead of the game. To be persuasive in a job interview, there are 3 things you need to understand. 1. Get to know the interviewer. What it's like to be them. How has their day been so far? Are they excited about the candidates they have seen so far or not? Has anyone else shown a genuine interest in them? 2. Get to know their needs. You can take hints from how they introduce themselves, and you can ask some questions. You already know that they want to find the best candidate to get the job done. So, from their viewpoint, will buying you add values to the existing team? Do they like to play safe or to take a flyer? In the job, will they be directly in contact with you? 3. Help them see how you will match their needs. When we are working on our resumes, we use lots of keywords, right? The same can apply here at the interviews. Describe in vivid details on what you can do for them. The human mind can only take 3 ideas at one time, so you would like to structure your answers in only 3 parts. 1. Straightforward answer to the questions. 2. Add details and curious stories to support your claim. And 3. Summarize and reinforce your message. Plus, in marketing, the rule of 7 states a customer needs to see or hear about a product 7 times before they will take action to purchase it. So go ahead and repeat your strengths for a few more times throughout the whole interview conversation. Next, let's talk about nonverbals. You start off by meeting the interviewer with a handshake. Don't underestimate it, because a handshake is a quick gesture to say, "Hello, I'm here. I'm professional and I'm ready for the interview." It helps form your first impressions because it's your first nonverbal exchange. Now make sure your hands are dry and your palm is facing sideways, which is a sign of equality between you and the interviewer. A proper way to do a handshake is to give a firm grip, make eye contact, smile, and swing an up and down movement like the 2 little guy here. In communications, research shows that 38% of communication is about your voice, which is your tone and inflection. 70% is the word and content you speak, and 55% is actually visual, which is about your body language. So, it's really important to take care of your non-verbal communications during an interview. 2. To massively improve the quality of your voice, breathe from your diaphragm. It means when you breathe in, your abdomen, not your chest, will rise, and when you breathe out, your abdomen will go in. When you talk from the diaphragm, you sound more calm, resonant, and more authoritative. 3. Avoid monotone speaking, which is the voice of the answering machine. Give your voice some colors of emotions to show your passion and to engage them during the conversation. 4. Change the pace of your voice. Speak slower when you are talking about key pieces of information such as how you will achieve targets and objectives. And 5. Introduce a rhythm when you are communicating a large amount of information, like pointers of counting 1, 2, 3, 4 as I do, and insert enough pauses between your points so the interviewer can follow through. Next, you will want to make them like you to get them on your side. Here are a few tips. Be interested in the person and try to find something in common. Maybe you have common friends on LinkedIn, for example. Use the names often, or surname depends on your culture. Ask small questions before interview starts, like, have you been interviewing all day? Yes, it must be hard to choose the right person. How do you know who to pick? And based on the clue they offer, construct your answers accordingly. And don't forget to smile and practice active listening. Level 2. Connection magic. Besides getting them to like you, you want them to feel that you understand them, that you are in sync with them. Then we need to learn how to build rapport. There are many ways to build rapport. Most of them work best when you practice the techniques so that you are able to do them unconsciously without even thinking. This technique is called match and mirror, which includes several elements to bring you to be on the same wavelength physically with whoever you are speaking with. 1. Nod when the interviewer speaks. Nodding means you agree with them and understand the message, unless it has different meaning in your culture. 2. Match their breathing. This automatically brings your physiologies in alignment with one another. As they breathe in and breathe out, just match your breathing to theirs. 3. Match and mirror their body movements, speaking speed, and tone of voice. For example, if they have their leg crossed, do the same. Or perhaps, cross another part of your body. If they lean forward, match the movement too. Remember to be subtle, or otherwise they would think you're a bit odd. And 4. Reflect the choice of word back to them. If they use very visual words like see, look, visualize, etc., then use the words too. It will allow you to build rapport faster and deeper. Another useful technique is called mind reading. This is commonly used in TV commercials and advertisements, so probably you've encountered this almost everywhere. Mind reading means you claimed to know what the person is thinking and feeling about by using very generalized sentences. Phrases to be used are like, I know you're wondering. You probably are thinking about. you may be curious about. This technique increases your persuasion power for what you have to say after the mind reading statement, so it is effective if you want to turn around a weakness in your profile. Example: I know you are wondering if I am smart enough to work here with my average GPA. The fact is, I'm so passionate about coding since year one and have devoted all my time and energy to teach myself in getting better. And therefore, eventually, I won 2 international hackathons where I competed with the smartest engineers around the world. The third technique is called the pace, and lead. This is to be used to insert your suggestions when you speak. Pace means to describe what is happening now to get a yes in their mind, and lead refers to your suggestions. Example sentences: Your company has been established for over 50 years. The first yes. And you've mentioned that the company is embracing innovation and creativity moving forward. The second yes. So you will want to hire someone like me, your lead, with a creative mind and a strong passion in the industry to successfully execute your 10 years plan. All these 3 techniques are effective in enhancing your persuasion power during interviews. And you will want to practice them more before the interview with other people so you can observe how good you are doing and keep refining your skills. What's the point of persuasion if you cannot read and respond to the interviewer's immediate reaction to a particular idea? In level 3, we will learn to find out what they are thinking by improving your observation skills. There are 5 types of feedbacks you will get from reading the face of the interviewer. Now, please note that here we are referring to a sudden change of gestures. So let's say the interviewer wears a poker face with his arm crossed starting from the beginning. At the moment when he loosens up, you know you've gained his trust and your rapport building is working. Type 1. You know you are on the right track when you see the interviewers are nodding, their pupils are enlarged, which means they are interested in you. They might also show you their palms, which signify that they are open to you and even mirror your body gestures. If you have more than one of the above checked, you are doing quite well. Type 2. If you see the interviewers are frowning, looking puzzled, or even scratching their heads, chances are they don't understand you. It's time to slow down, elaborate with examples, and avoid using acronyms or terms that they do not understand. Type 3. When you see crossed arms across the body and rolling eyes, the interviewers show that they don't agree with you. They may even make noise when exhaling if they feel irritated. And when you see this, do not mirror them. Soften what you have just mentioned and try to find common ground between you. Type 4. Signs that telling you they find you boring. You notice your interviewer is not listening. Maybe they're playing with their fingers or pen, stamping their feet, looking impatient, looking at their watch or smartphone, or even yawning. In this case, you can choose to either wrap up quickly or ask them a quick question instead. Remember in class when you were daydreaming, your teacher always asks you a question. Throw them back a question to make them feel guilty of being impatient for you. Then you gain back your control because you deserve respect when you are speaking. Type 5. If they do one of these, they might be lying, or at least they are unsure of the answers. Like too much touching on their nose, face, and lips. Subconsciously, a person would like to cover their mouth by these actions when what they speak is not congruent with what they are really thinking. When you learn more about reading facial expressions and body languages, watching politicians speak become much more fun when you can pick up subtle messages they are sending by their body. Your words can have magical power if you use them wisely. So next I'm going to teach you one more technique in using language to your advantage. Level 4. Words to turn around. What to do if the interviewer throws you a negative comment? We always use linking words like because, but, and, yet to connect two ideas, and they are particularly useful when you want to turn around a negative opinion from the interviewers. Example: the target weren't met on that project, but the marketing campaign which I was in charge of was overwhelmingly successful. For advanced level language pattern, here are some powerful linking phrases like yes I know, which means I agree and I would add that's true, but I can validate it because I appreciate it and example. The interviewer says, so you graduate from ABC University? Everyone I met who studied there are self-absorbed and don't take opinions. Your response: I agree there are some self-absorbed people studying in ABC University, and I would add that being a young kid who are always humble and agreeable, I learned to become more assertive in this environment. Which is a good thing for you, of course. So try that and include these phrases in your next conversation. Now, I've covered several powerful NLP techniques in these episodes, so you can master yourself and increase your influencing powers to others. All of them require practice and more practice until you become a natural in using them. And it's worth the effort because what I taught you are all about improving your communication skills so they can be applied to your other relationships as well. Finally, don't forget to do your homework before you go for interviews. You would love to revise my laser-focused company research guidance in section 3 to make sure you've already covered everything. Charles Darwin said, "It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change that survives." I hope what I share on NLP would become some of your most frequently used tools in your toolbox. Remember, it's always up to you on how you're going to utilize what you have learned and apply them to different situations. The more effective tools you have, like Doraemon, the more adaptable and flexible you are in times of changes. Finally, after so much preparation, it comes to the time when you are having an interview for your dream job. Congratulations! And in this episode, I will teach you some mind tricks so that you can perform at your peak state when you are there. First, let's admit to the fact that you already have what it takes for the job. Because if not, you won't be invited for interviews. Remember, your resume could only get you an interview opportunity, and job interviews could lead you to job offers. Now is your showtime to let them know how great you are. Fact number 2. Your mind, as well as your body, is very powerful and they are connected. So when you care so much about this important meeting, your body responds with a faster heartbeat, sweating palms, and butterflies in your stomach. Recognize that these are just signals from your body that it is getting excited. Your body just wants to prepare you to be your best. Be thankful for such a healthy body that is always supportive. Fact number 3. Interviewing is just a conversation. And therefore, be genuine. Be your best self that is not self-defeating. Be interested in your interviewer and the company. And the most importantly, be a good conversationalist that people enjoy talking to. Alright, so on the interviewing day, here are my tips for you in sequences. To begin with, let's do some morning exercise. 1. Deep breathing. Begin your morning by taking more oxygen to your brain. Take a deep breath in, hold, and count 1, 2, 3. Then breathe out with a relieving sound. Repeat the breathing exercise for 10 more times and your body should feel a bit warmer by then. Next, we work on the body. When your mind is stressed, your muscles go tense as well. So do some stretches, shake your limbs, rotate your neck and torso to keep the blood flowing. And if you like, play your favorite party music and dance with a smile on your face for just a few minutes. Next, let's do an empowerment visualization together. Turn your face to the sun or a bright light and close your eyes. Spread your arms into the sky. Take a powerful and deep breath in, and as you breathe in, imagine the ray of sunlight flows through the top of your head into your body. You are now energized, and as you breathe out, see the light circulate throughout your whole body. Today is your day to shine. Continue for a couple of breaths here, and then you are ready for your usual morning routines. Also, take the time to loosen up your facial muscles, like saying the vowels A, E, I, O, U in an exaggerated way, like the photo here, although it's not very pleasing to the eyes, but I hope you get the idea. You should look silly in this, and it helps in your interview expression later on when your face is more relaxed. Next, here is a mental exercise you can do during your commute. Assume you could read your interviewer's mind and here is what he or she is thinking. Wow, we are curious. We love your smart brain and we value your ideas. We just want to get to know you more. So tell us, what inspired you to apply for this position? What's your idea on how you can help us to do things even better around here? And then start brainstorming for the answers. Or you can also repeat the confidence visualization exercise that I taught you earlier in the episode of NLP Techniques in Interview. Now, besides confidence preparation, you can also take the time to review your notes and browse through your career story bank. I would also suggest you to arrive slightly early, usually at least 15 minutes earlier before the appointment time, but not too early to catch the staff unprepared, which could be very embarrassing. Now here's a technique called the magical door frame. This technique is inspired by the Chinese opera performance, where the performers would go through a tiger gate when they enter and leave the stage. In that few seconds, they will forget who they are and immerse themselves fully into the characters. It's like a ritual before roleplay. So when you step into the building of where the interviewing is going to take place, imagine you are going through a magical door frame and tell yourself, in the coming 60 minutes, I'll show whoever I meet my top 3 competencies, which are those who are the most relevant to the job. For example, I am a powerful communicator. I am a master project manager. I am so creative to solve problems by thinking out of the box. Usually, our attention span is very limited for both the interviewers and the interviewees, so it's a wonderful technique to help you concentrate on only 3 key points in your interviews. Now, you arrive the meeting place, and if you arrive early, you can excuse yourself to the washroom and do some final tricks to calm your nerves. The power poses were introduced by a Harvard social psychologist, Amy Cuddy, who gave a TED Talk in 2012 and explained the scientific evidence that standing or sitting in a certain way, even for just 2 minutes, could effectively lower your stress hormone. As you can see from the pictures here, all the power poses involve opening up your chest and occupying more space around you to have the feeling that you are in control. You can also try to do the starfish up posture as demonstrated in person by Amy Cuddy below. Do one of these poses for 2 minutes privately, and you will definitely feel more relaxed. After you step into the waiting room, remind yourself to sit up straight and maintain an open and positive body language. Please understand that you are under observation starting from the moment when you step into the office building, so you better behave. And if you're waiting together with other candidates, be friendly, smile, and make some chit-chats. Sometimes when you are under stress, it could feel like having difficulties in breathing, or you feel like the middle of your chest is stuck somehow. According to reflexology and traditional Chinese medicine theory, there are several energy points or acupuncture points on your hands which are helpful in releasing physical discomfort, like the big fat area below your thumb, as shown in the picture. There are some energy points in this area that protect the heart and relieve the difficulty in breathing. To do this, stimulate this area by rubbing against another hand and make it warm. And do this action for 2 minutes and you will feel better. Now, when the HR colleague is leading you to the interview room, you can make some small talks before the real interview begins. After all, interviewing is just a conversation. Phrases you can use while you're walking towards the room are: thanks for inviting me to this interview. It is position based in this office. How many people work here? Or make observations about the office, like, the office is impressive. I love open office. Also, when you have sat down, usually the interviewer will make small talks with you to calm you down. The common topics could be the weather, your journey here, and where you're living. Now, I would like to talk a bit more about body language and what you have to mindful during an interview. First, be humble, polite, and follow the lead of the receptionist who brings you to the room. Close the door behind you if appropriate. When you meet the interviewer, extend a firm, welcoming handshake with confident eye contact and smile. Place your thin portfolio on the desk and other belongings near your foot, so you won't grab them in front of your chest or behind your back, which makes your postures unnatural. During the interview, you may like to mirror the gesture and facial expression of your interviewer to be rapport. Keep your hands at levels in front of your stomach to navel, so it gives a centered image when you talk. At the end of the interview, gather your belongings calmly. Stand up smoothly. Smile. Nod your head and say thank you when you are leaving the room. Having spent so much time and effort in preparation, sometimes you might feel like you're reading out from the scripts. Now, remind yourself that you are telling your personal story to a new person, which is your interviewer. So, to be genuine, the energy level and the emotions of how you are telling it have to match with the content of the story. Meaning, your heart and the brain have to go hand in hand in the moment of storytelling. And the trick is speak like the story is happening right now. Finally, what to do if your mind goes blank during an interview? Sometimes things happen. Your mind simply doesn't function for a few seconds. In this case, here are 6 tips for you. 1. Get back to your breathing. Your brain is out of oxygen, so breathe. 2. Smile and make a little joke to relax the atmosphere. Like, you know what? I forgot to have my coffee this morning. 3. Ask for a clarification of the question to buy time. 4. Ask for a few seconds to think about that. Usually, the interviewer will be very understanding and let you do so. 5. Go back to your memory palace. Visualize and take a story that matches the most. And 6. Just start talking and your thoughts will come back very soon. I hope you find the above tips useful and handy to help you ace the interview on that important day. And here's a quote which really sums up what I taught in this episode. Be confident. Too many days are wasted comparing ourselves to others and wishing to be something we aren't. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it's only when you accept everything you are and aren't that you will truly succeed. Thank you so much, and all the blessings to you in your future interviews.